A day in the garden deserves a glass of beer. And these days, there are all sorts of beers that you can get. Light beers, malt beers, stouts, ales, whatever you like. Fun to sample, equally fun to make your own. It's not only cheap, you learn what the different tastes are, what the malt does and how the hops fit in. Well, most beers start with malt. Malt comes from barley. Barley's a grain a bit like wheat, and if you wet it for a couple of days, it'll germinate. You can see here the roots and the shoots poking out of those damp grains. When it germinates, the chemistry inside each grain changes. And if you kill it at that stage with heat, you produce malt. People who drink malt whiskey comment on the peaty flavour of it. That's because the grain has been killed over a peat fire. Well, when you do it, this is how the barley looks. This is malted barley. You can see inside each of those grains is a sort of black crystalline stuff. That's the malt itself. You can see the little holes with the shoot poked through too. Well, that gets cracked or ground up in either a coffee grinder or a food processor. I use a Vitamizer and set it spinning for as long as it takes to turn it all to dust. And the result is this interesting stuff. Interesting firstly because of its smell. It's that wonderful rich malty smell you get from malt bread or some cakes or biscuits, and of course in beer. You'll recognise the smell in rich malty beers. This is what the ground up crystal malt looks like. The brown powder is the malt that you want. The rubbish in there you don't want. You don't want it floating around in your brew. So to contain it, put all that into an old stocking, tie it off, and then you can toss that into a pan, brew it up, you get the malt out without all the rubbish. Well, of course you have to add sugar because sugar's important in all brewing. What happens to this is it gets split into two. The yeast works on it, giving you alcohol which you want and carbon dioxide, a gas that you don't want, and it bubbles away. And the brown sugar, well, it's just got a bit more taste than white sugar. But you empty all of that into the brew as well. The final taste is the hop taste. And these, despite their green appearance, are really flowers. Very bitter flowers, hop flowers. And, of course, if you don't want your beer so bitter, you don't add as many. If you want it very bitter, add more. Simple as that. But, of course, because it ends up as compost, you don't want that contaminating the beer, so put it inside a stocking, and that way you can keep all the flavour in the beer without getting the scunge as well. In it goes. Well, all of that is brewed up, not boiled, but steeped in hot water for a while to get all those tastes out into the liquid, which is known as wort. And that's transferred to the fermenter. Before you do that, you sterilise it with a chemical sterilant, tip everything in there, and then screw the lid down. But before you do that, of course, you have to put the yeast in. And that's got to be the right kind. Don't use wine yeast, certainly don't use baker's yeast, because that'll give you very strange tastes. Use a proper brewer's yeast for beer. In it goes, tighten the lid, and you'll find with an airlock on there, you can judge when the fermentation starts to take place, because as the carbon dioxide's given off, it'll make that bubble. Gas can get out, no air can get in, so you should keep your brew absolutely free from any germs that will contaminate it. And you'll find that begins to bubble probably in about 2 or 3 hours. Well, all that bubbling stopped up there, and the brew is ready to bottle off. And this is how we do it. First of all, let's see what we produced. I can run a bit into this glass here and just see how it turned out. That's enough for a sample. Now, the smell is terrific. You can smell the malt and the hops. It tastes good, but of course it's absolutely flat, and no one wants flat beer. Still, we can fix that in the bottling process. We use sugar again. This time, it's white sugar. And you just take a teaspoon like that, a heaped one, and tip it into the bottle. When you've done that, run the beer in as well. And that's about right. Now, the beer has live yeast in it still, and it's looking for sugar to munch up. Before it can chew up that teaspoonful, we'll put a crown seal on and hammer it down. Hammer it on a piece of wood. That's nice and hard, but fairly resilient too. And there we are. And as that carbon dioxide is produced from that teaspoonful of sugar, it can't get out, so it dissolves in the beer and makes it fizzy. And that'll be ready in about 2 weeks. Well, this is the last brew I made, and I think by now it's ready to drink. So let's see how it turned out. Get rid of that, and tops off. You can hear the gas, and I think as it's poured, you'll see it really heads the beer up pretty well. And it smells very good, and it tastes terrific. Well, I like a light beer, so I've cut the sugar in half, but you can do it any way you like. So, cheers.
I want to know. Curiosity.